song from the 1970s. A guy from Plum Island wrote it. I've been hung on to it for years. Why should I marry when there are bridges and high windows and rooftops I can jump from? Why should I marry when I can drive my car off a cliff? So they have poisons and shotguns and a hangman with nothing to do.
Dirty Gerund Poetry Show, Worcester, Massachusetts. Usually, we're able to snag a poet who's been on the road, like a troubadour, like what have you, slam poet from another part of the country or the region. We live in a very rich poetry region, but sometimes it gets a little special. Sometimes we give the stage for a longer time to one of our own. Someone that's been paying their dues. Someone that's been like being prolific and like magnificent and like just all about what this reading is all about. And tonight we're celebrating a brand new book, Born into the World. It's a big book. It's a chapbook, but like there's a lot of shit in here. This is the debut collection called MacGuffin. And we're so proud and we're so excited. And apparently he's nervous, but he should be, because he's gonna be. I've already returned. I've returned from the future, and it went really well. So I guarantee you that as I get back into my spaceship. Dirty Gerund Poetry Show. Please make tons of noise for one of your own. Make some noise for your feature, Jake Killay! What's up?
I love that feeling that you get in your eyes when you step out of the shower and into the world, and your back's still wet and sticking to your shirt, and your eyelids are oysters, and your eyes are the pearls, and the oysters open wide, but it's still fuzzy to see, but just as clear as day, and alive as the sea, on a dark stormy day. In the middle of spring, in the middle of May, and the boat of my soul, with emptiness aboard, strives to finish its mission, strives to land on shore before the waves overtake it, and it sinks down to the sand, and it doesn't matter where, just so long as it lands, and it's safe, safe in the Garden of Eden, where the snakes reproduce, and you're all free to be heathens, and no one can judge, because no one goes to heaven. If the devil is 6, then God is most definitely not 7, but 5. 5 simple reasons for you to live, against the 6 fucking reasons for your soul to give up and die. But not all has been exhausted. Because cheap thrills are not dirty, they're just things that make you happy, that are free, and obstacles are the most difficult when they're the things keeping you from being who you want to be, happy and free. And the message is to keep pushing all boundaries, just as your boat pushes the sea. Just as your boat pushes the sea. Just as your boat pushes the sea. This one's called A Poem for Gabe. I broke a porcelain bowl by opening an umbrella indoors. The next morning I woke up and read one of the best poets I'd ever met. Gabe, sunglasses emoji, barba. I put on a dead man's jacket and went on the porch for a smoke. Halfway down I felt nauseous. What was it about drinking? Antifreeze? I need another job soon. Is this what a hangover is? I thought about texting him to tell him he's the best. I thought about texting him, don't open an umbrella indoors, but he'd probably pull it off. With style. This one's called Flower Girl. No one remembers what they did last night, what they said, what temporary connections they might have made. We're convinced nothing lasts, so we act accordingly. Is it our fault? My antenna is a broken umbrella. Through two black eyes, I see all the doorways I might have stopped in to collapse it and talk to someone I might have been walking with. Rain Dog daydreams of a parallel universe. It's sweet. I could be sweet. I don't have to feel as mangy as I do sometimes. I'm nothing like the post office. Maybe I was talking to that girl with the ray gun. Maybe we were sharing a cigarette or a pair of headphones. And even though it was raining and cloudy, there are spots between the gray where we could still see the stars. The wind blows down the street and turns my umbrella inside out. I hate country music.
Yeah!
Thanks. I got some books for sale over there. The 72 pages.
Wow!
There's a lot of content. There's a poem in Morse code. So that's a fun project. There's some comic book drawings and stuff.
Yeah! Is that a Morse code?
Yeah, dude, it's wicked cool. Yeah.
Alright. This one's called The Cherry-Colored Cat. Abandoning hope and adopting curiosity is a love interest without love. Like shooting yourself in the mirror. The glass shatters, but you're likely to find your reflection again in another mirror you'll shoot, window you'll jump out of, or body of water you'll drown in. Hope is mortal, and we're all playing God. Reckless creation and destruction in the heat of passion. Paper-thin skin constantly folding in on itself. Crinkling carbon, origami organisms. Blood is not meant for bleeding. It's meant for consuming. Destined for an orgy. Damned by the confusion of the organs it visits. The priest's lipstick. The junkie's subway. The soldier's collateral. The rotten egg. Glistening crimson. Hope is death, and curiosity killed the cat. But you're likely to find that cat again in another mirror you'll shoot, window you'll jump out of, or body of water you'll drown in.
Yeah!
It's called The Night I Met Zoe. My sinuses are congested. It's hard to breathe. My nose is always bleeding. I threw out my back. Most of my body hurts most of the time. I'm 24. My most recent blackouts include setting off fireworks in a church parking lot, passing out in the bathtub, getting kicked out of my favorite band's show before I got to hear them play, giving my boss the most poetic description of a 7-Eleven she's ever heard, smoking pot with random strangers in my apartment who I deemed the living room kids, and Jenny carrying me back into the bar, kicking and screaming after I tried to run away.
Yeah, mama, boom, boom!
I work 2 jobs. The basement of my apartment building has been flooded with human piss and shit for about a month. My love life is non-existent. I don't even have enough free time to have a good relationship with myself. Would you like to get coffee on a day I don't have off? You can spend the night with me in the room that I share. The human waste doesn't smell so bad on the 2nd floor. I'm like limping to the grave anyways. I'm 24. Gotta find me a girl who's into necrophilia. The French orgasm is called the little death. And goddamn it, am I suicidal. But life fucks me pretty hard. And sometimes when your partner's into masochism, you just gotta take one for the team. Alright. Now we're getting somewhere. Alright, this one's called Praying for a Storm. There are some stories too dark to put into a song, and there are some moments too hectic and personal to be captured by a poem. Voices chatter. My roommate warns me of a mistake I'm about to make by example. Asshole drunk. The embodiments of my sickness, college kids yell of cigarettes, squad cars crowd the corner to my apartment, streaming colors in the nothing. Two drunk girls in the distance sing Mr. Brightside in sloppy unison, and Jean joins the equation, like a ghost floating around me, with the ghosts of everyone else I've ever known. They swirl, and I sit, only half buzzed, only half proud of myself, on the steps with a cardboard box, makeshift Halloween mask. A stranger named Naomi asked what kind of cat it was. I said it was a box cat, and it didn't matter. Because everything that had just happened was a reflection of everything I'd ever experienced, in dreams, or waking life, or whatever. Everything's trying to tell me something, but I still haven't figured out what it is. Now the kids across the street are singing Dayman from Always Sunny. The crow and the squirrel, the acorn and the skull. The world never stops talking, but it's more obnoxious in the city, and much more difficult to make out. Back at the apartment, loud music in every room, including my room. No solace. One more smoke, even though I've gone past the limit I've set for myself. One more smoke to cope. On the sacrificial stairwell, sifting through the madness, mangled in a riptide, but I'm ready to deny the flow. Turn all the water. Everything. Finally, I'll turn myself back into bruised flesh, still dripping wet, with shards of coral sticking into me. And I'll breathe through a smile. And after that, I don't know what I'll do. But it'll have absolutely nothing to do with the impossible puzzle I've created for myself that I'll never solve. Praying for a storm. Should I keep going, or?
Yes. Yeah.
This is the newest one. It's called Defibrillator. I like that. I'm always either ascending into darkness or sitting in my madness. 3 times in an unusual sleeping arrangement, I fell down Jacob's ladder to hit the dark basin of my skull, where we were no longer separate but viewed the full gravity of our situation. I wore Howard's face for protection. My blue corpse under his black suit blushed red with the burning blood vessels of a prison riot. The Nosferatu lookalikes and the ink hounds misting from the floorboards whispered and scoured like a blind militia. As long as I stay quiet, I thought. As long as I stay still. The moon's hand manages only but a fingertip through the one lonesome window kicking dust up from its sill. This is fine, I thought. Nothing outwardly out of the ordinary. Think again, she said. Think hard, she said. Your rig is fucked and you're delusional. Think back, she said. And if you can't think back, think forward. Things can be different. It can be okay. Just look over there. It's been right there the whole time. You think you're so clever? You become just as blind as them. She was right. On the other side of the room, there was another window shaped like a cloud and filled with light. 3 times I managed only but a fingertip through it, till I was slapped awake by lightning. 3 times they yelled clear, and my world went blank.
Nice.
Pretty good with that thing.
I wrote this for one of the challenges, but I wasn't listening. For the ruckus,
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to the rules, so I was disqualified.
Nice.
But I wrote it anyways. It's called Napkin. Your memory is in the scent of sweaty palms and fresh rainfall, but I never thought I'd find it here. I was too polite not to fall down your stairs twice, but I was cautious enough to grab a baluster. This apartment's for the best. A father on the beach, surprised and proud of his wimp of a son who finally stood up and fought his brother back and won. But I wasn't proud. I was ashamed. I thought my brother would never love me now. A night drunk from India, sensual and secret, meaningful and lasting like a scar or a flower or anything. An old man buried in a bad part of town. An elderly woman in the same area, sweet as shortbread and tough as nails, who I need to see again soon. One of my teachers was worried that young people these days can't smell the rain coming. Like we only smell gristle and skunk. dank in perfume and other less ethereal things, like Sticky Nick the Landing's napkins, and things that have more to do with me. The clouds bleed and the grounds greed.
Cool.
This one's called Millipede, or Millipedes. I fell in love in the rain, only it wasn't falling. It was already a lake. I don't want to say. Things that didn't happen are just as real as what did. Hopefully some things are inevitable where timelines intersect regardless. I don't want to say. How our souls were injected onto the plane of Elephant Butte. Fireflies buzzed in my head and projected out of my eyes and mouth onto the night sky. What they spilled and spelt, I don't want to say. We scaled the hill, red rock and brush, to the weather vane. Watching over the oasis, stumbled into a colony of red millipedes, archaic, spineless but shelled, blessed by arthropods, baptized in darkness, our bony bodies bathed in moonlight. I want to say. I want to so badly, but I just end up dry heaving. I stand knee deep in the stars, in only my soaked underwear, bent over the Milky Way, clutching my stomach, wanting to puke my soul into this puddle, to shed my skin and everything that went with it, leaving my body to water empty and start filling with new things, but I got stuck in my throat. Your voice carried softly from the shore, so soft it could mingle with silence, float on the wind, asking if I was okay. I cried in the dark, sternum cracked under tension, lungs bled of oxygen, my eyes quietly squeezed out drops of lake. I trudged back through the water, we dried off and got dressed. We drove off into a void, into a spiral, into a void, into a spiral. And though it is much different than my divorced parents' clotter rings, maybe we can collect millipede shells together. Maybe I can crack off the head and slip the body over your finger. Maybe we could fall in love in the rain. Or maybe it was just me. But on the ride home, I found everything I wanted to say, and I smiled, and I hardly said a word.
Falling asleep to the taste of tobacco and an empty stomach. On a mattress I found on the side of the road, bundling dreams. A snow globe filled with troubled pedestrians and dying debris. A refugee grabbed onto my hair canal, holding my nose and stood on my teeth and said, "Wake up now, you monstrosities, we're dying in there." So I opened my teeth and I swallowed him whole. I went back to sleep. Here he put it towards his pile. Oh shit, what is it? Of inanimate beauty. Our mattress I found on the side of the street.
Thank you. I got books.
Fuck yeah! Look! One more time for Killay, y'all! Welcome to the book release.